missionbasedbranding.com.
Oh,
I also have cards there for anybody who's interested.
oh,
Is my hand anymore?
yeah.
And for everybody on Facebook Live, feel free to type in questions and I'll answer them later. This is the way we do things nowadays, right? All right, so just a really quick recap of myself. As a child, I was a performer. I've been singing and writing and everything since I was a little kid, since I was like 3 years old. And however, I was also a really good student. I ended up studying finance, and I ended up getting into banking. And so around 2008, I realized that was not my mission. And I was a super hot, well-paid, well-compensated construction lender in Miami in 2008. Remember what happened around 2008, 2009? I still had a job. I was actually like one of the only ones. However, I realized then that was a catalyst for me to say, hello, this is not for me. And even before that, I was like, why did I get into this? Why was I doing business? I always loved to write. I've always loved to perform. I really want to express myself. So why am I in this field? So in 2010, I resigned from the banking world. Very good job. Completely left that industry, got into communications, and started my own business. Before that, I had actually already started writing several books, and I did my first book in 2011, Sculpt Your Life from Sketch to Masterpiece. And in 2012, I founded my business, my current business, which helps missionpreneurs, what I call mission-driven entrepreneurs, get really clear about their mission, craft their message, and share their voice with the world. Basically, express themselves, right? Express themselves in a bigger way. Oh, and I've also written a few other books and have been, best-selling author in a couple of collaboration books, and so I've been writing now for maybe about 8 years. So I've written several different books, different genres. I was actually in the process of writing a musical when I got the divine, I know, right? It was a musical memoir of myself when I got the divine inspiration to write my first book in 2011. So I wanted to share this with you, this message with you guys. If you are really, really passionate, you have a strong message, you really want to serve others, and you've been dreaming of writing your own book. And even if you haven't been dreaming of writing it, you have a little notion in your mind that this is something for you. It's down, right? Yes. So I'm going to probably breeze through a few of these things because this is a really, really informative worksheet for you guys. You can do a lot of this at home if you like. But we're just going to go through my 5-step program, or 5-step process for discovering the book in you. All right, so first we're going to start with a blue screen. What do you think? What happened?
¿Qué pasó?
¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó aquí?
I don't.
Because it wasn't working. Could you put them in? All right, technical difficulties. This has been a wonderful Mercury retrograde period for me. Anybody else, by show of hands, who has been affected by Mercury retrograde in the last month? Does everybody know what Mercury retrograde is? Mercury rules communication, which is why I love this topic during this time. Mercury also rules technology. So
Your computer's dead.
yeah, but I have it on.
It's
All right, no worries. I got this down.
We have a backup.
That's all right. Let's do it.
Very good.
All right. So the first step is discovering your why. So as mission-based branding, for me, it's super important, so crucial for you to know your why you're doing everything, what's the purpose, what's the mission behind everything that you do. So if you're going to be writing a book, there's many reasons why you're interested in writing a book. Oh, and then before I forget, anybody who answers or asks questions, I'm going to be giving little tickets, and at the end I'm going to give away a prize, one of my courses. So feel free to participate. Was a little tease right there. All right, so who here has or is interested in writing a book because you have a strong message? Show of hands. Is everybody just love to write? Just love to write. How about, is there an expertise, a really strong piece of information you want to share, a legacy? How about you want to just be famous and make a lot of money from it? That's not my main motivation, but sure, right? I mean, if I can reach more people by sharing my influence, why not, right? So it's important to understand what your why is, because that's going to be the foundation for the type of book that you write, for the message, for the topic. It's really the basis for your book. And when I wrote my book in 2011, when I wrote my book in 2011, I was in the process of writing a musical memoir, which you laughed about, right? A musical memoir, a style guide for women, and also, I know, you like that one. What was the third one? It was a book for arts marketing. I ended up not doing that one. Screw it. We don't need it.
Okay.
So, discovering your why, step number 1. And in this little worksheet, there's not much time now because we've been shifting the time a little bit, but in this little worksheet, there are questions for you to consider and reflect on, okay? This is designed actually as a 5-day course for you to reflect and be introspective and understand and know what the book is inside you, all right? So the second thing is understanding and discovering your topic, right? So what is the strong message that you have? And there's a few different things that you can look at. One is your level of expertise, right? So who here who is a professional with a strong level of expertise? And I know many of you are, right? Has anybody thought of writing a book in that topic? Yes, right? It's almost like a no-brainer if you're a professional, correct? That being said, are you really passionate about that topic? Are you really passionate about that topic? And the reason I say that is because I was writing a book on arts marketing because I was working with artists. And I completely scrapped that to write my book, Sculpture Life from Sketch to Masterpiece, in 3 weeks. Why? Because that was such a passionate topic for me that I said, screw, even the musical memoir, I still have the musical memoir, but I haven't really done much with it, right? And even though it was fun. But what drove me to write my book in 3 weeks when I was writing 3 other books at the same time? It was because I was super passionate about that topic. I knew I really wanted to serve those people, right? And so that's what helped me to decide. The other thing is timeliness and relevance. So keep in mind, if there's something that you're really particularly interested in writing about or an area of expertise, is there something that is particularly timely and time-bound now? So as an example, let's say there's something that you can write for the holiday season. Well, if you got something to write for the holiday season, you gotta get cranking, right? You gotta start writing like yesterday, and you can do it, but it's keeping those things in mind. If there's anything that's time-bound, will help you. A great example, and I have it in my presentation, is I did a quick Amazon search of 30-day bikini body books. All of them, the 3 that I found, and I probably could have looked, all of them were published in April or May. Why? Because when do you want a bikini body? When do you want 30 days to get a bikini body? Right before the summer, right? And so people who are searching for that are going to be searching for that type of information, and so it makes sense in that particular case. The other thing is trends. Is there anything that you can piggyback off of trends? What's something super trendy right now? Throw out some topics.
CrossFit.
CrossFit, who said that? Mario?
Yeah.
Okay. Mario, CrossFit is super, right. So is there something, in your particular case, Mario, is there something that could be tied to CrossFit, some topic that you're really interested in or level of expertise or you just love writing about?
I'm really into athletic activities and workouts and triathlons, but CrossFit is one thing. I haven't looked into it yet, but I know it's very much competitive, makes people compete against each other, has special workouts. Some people say it's a cult, and but it's very much a quick fix. Well, promises a quick fix. Like work out with this, and in a month you'll be buff and muscular and look like someone in the movies.
Yes.
Which is a great marketing, branding, but it's a little bit dangerous. So many exercises to know what you're doing.
How about Pokemon?
I was about to suggest that.
You get a ticket,
Yeah.
even just for saying that you thought you were thinking about it. right?
Like,
So
this is not
Pokemon,
wellness
if there's
oriented.
something, I mean, this is such a ridiculous example, but something that if you can piggyback off of that, if whatever is related to your topic, then you're gonna have that much more momentum, inspiration, and drive to write it now, right? Because we're not talking about I obviously at one point had 4 books I was writing at the same time, okay? There's not necessarily a shortage of ideas, although some people might have a shortage of ideas, but there's a lot of things you can write about, but we're talking about the things you can write right now, okay? And that's actually in your worksheets number 2 and number 3 for you to think about for yourself when you get home. The step number 3 is discover your brand, which of course is my area of expertise, right? How do you tie your book, how do you tie your topic to your brand? And there's so many things that you can think of, but I wanted to give you some 3 strategies for you to consider for your brand. The first is unique ability. What makes you uniquely you? What are you the best at, right? That's gonna help position you in the market, okay? And not only you, but your book. So all of this, we're making sure that this all references your book as well. The second thing is memorability. How do you stand out? What can you put into your book that's gonna stand out, right? The third thing is personalization. Creating an emotional connection with your audience, okay? A great example that I use in the book is the 4-Hour Workweek. Does everybody know that book by Tim Ferriss?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was super unique to him, right? It was very, very memorable. It totally stood out. And on top of everything else, he made an emotional connection with everyone who desires to have a 4-hour work week. I read that book. Who else read that book? Did anybody else read that book? Yeah, I read that because for me, I desire to have a life of passive income and be able to travel, which is what I'm in the process of doing right now. And being able to write and do all these things all over the world and not have to worry about money, right? So I want to pour out, you're laughing. Because it's nice, right? To be able to think about that. At least so I was a perfect target for that book. The next thing,
4 days?
4-hour work week. Oh, and on top of that, what did he do? Now he has 4-hour hacks for everything, right? He's created like a whole empire out of the 4-hour. I think there's languages. Can anybody think of any other ones that he's written?
Workout?
Probably a 4-hour workout, right? So yeah, he's parlayed that into this entire empire, right? The other thing is, who are you targeting? So in branding, and then marketing and communications in general, super important to know who you're targeting. What does that mean? Who are your clients? Who are you already talking to? What do they care about? And that's also a question in this handout, by the way. Who do they care about? If you don't necessarily want to talk to your current clients, who do you want to talk to? Who do you want to reach? I have a great example. One of my clients, Elaine King, is a financial planner. She's a holistic financial planner. She writes books for adults on financial planning, right? Kind of like a boring topic for many people. I come from a finance degree, okay? And it's a heavy topic. She created books for kids. She wrote a children's book for kids. And then on top of that, she made that into a game, into little puzzles. She just told me the other day she's making a summer camp for kids. So she's thinking ahead, she's thinking strategically. Well, who else can I reach? Who else can I serve? Right? There really aren't that many books for kids. And on top of that, she does it in Spanish. So she's writing books both in English and in Spanish, but really thinking, how can I better serve this community? And she's doing it, and she's really thinking, what do kids care about? Do kids care about reading? Maybe if it's done in a fun book, but what they really want is to play games. And they want it to be fun. They want something where they can understand it and it be fun. I have tons of other strategies on the branding side that I can talk about, and some of them were in the presentation, but we're just gonna keep going because I think we're probably short on time anyway. Any questions so far? So first we discover your why. Then we look and discover your topic, the perfect topic for you, right? Let me just make a quick mention on your perfect topic. It's sometimes we think that we should be writing something. Whenever you start getting in the shoulds, and I know you're nodding, whenever you start getting into the shoulds, be careful you're not shooting all over yourself, right? Because what ends up happening is that you end up like me with 3 books that I'm in the process of writing, and 2 of them are completed, one of them the arts marketing book, which would probably have been a very strategic book for me to have written, never ended up getting written. So keep that in mind, right? So that was something I should write, it wasn't something I really wanted to write. Okay, so keep that in mind. Step number 4 is putting this all together. Right, so when you do your analysis, and I have some questions for you to consider here in the book, in the worksheet, where it really helps you to understand piecing this all together, so you understand what's the perfect book for you, right? So understanding what the perfect topic is for you, who you want to be reaching, like who your audience is, and the type of book and the genre of the book that is best for you. So, has anybody thought of different types of books, different genres of books? So many different things you can say. Like I said, musical memoir. I don't even know where that came from. But a musical memoir, right? Memoirs are super popular right now. After Eat, Pray, Love came out, that became a super popular book. Advice books, self-help, very common, of course, in our industry, in our world, because we're professionals and we have a lot of expertise. Self-help books and personal development books and advice books are very common. Anybody have something else? A novel? I don't know what yours is, Mario, but...
Memoir too, kind of.
A memoir? Anybody have anything outside of the box you're thinking of? Yes.
I have a kid's book that I wrote.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, can you tell us about that real quick?
It's sort of about not being afraid and children realizing that they're afraid of things because their imagination leads them through that, but that they can overcome that fear when they see the reality. And I wrote it many, many years ago, and it's sort of stuck in the illustration phase.
Okay, so we gotta get that from point, to the next level. Okay, we'll talk afterward. Yeah, because that happens a lot, right? Sometimes those things happen. Like I wrote my book in 3 weeks, but then the editing process and the design process and everything else took 3 months. Right, so it's easy, at least for me. For me, it was easy to write write the book in the 3 weeks. Everything else took so much longer. Oh, and the research and all that. So you get stuck in little pieces along the way, which is why it's so important to get help, right? One of the biggest pieces of advice I can give to any aspiring author is to have your team in place and have your resources. Yes, Sarah, you said you had a book in you?
Yeah, it's actually Einstein's theory of relativity. So it has to do with math.
Awesome.
And, translating that into words is quite a heavy duty.
So
passion.
let's walk through this. Why do you want to write that book?
No, I don't want to write the book. I am reading it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I asked if you've written or if you have an idea, or you're currently you have an idea for a book. Is that something you're interested in?
Yes.
Okay. Is that something you're an expert in? What are you an expert in?
Healing and traveling.
Healing and traveling. Is that something you're passionate about?
Very.
Really, really passionate about?
Very.
Is there a trend or something that you might be able to piggyback off of in your, that could tie in with that?
Yeah. The internet.
The internet, awesome. Let's see. How about why do you want to write your book?
Basically to get the word out that it's not a difficult thing to travel, and you can heal people on the way as you travel, which is what I want to do.
Would anybody else be interested in reading something like that potentially? I would. Cool. At least maybe even healing yourself,
At
right?
the same time.
So there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different angles. So what would be stopping you from actually sitting down and writing it?
The internet.
The internet is your friend and the internet is your foe. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
All right, we'll talk afterward on that. Is that part of your business, by the way? Is that your business?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then it actually would be something you're really passionate about and ties into your brand and ties into your business.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, so then it's like a super holistic approach, right? To all angles and all facets. All right, so the last step that I have is writing your outline. And this is something that many people overlook. I know you've already done this, Mark, because you've already written your book. But when I wrote, the first thing that I did before I sat down, I really wanted to write my book, but I said, okay, I have all these ideas, how do I put it all together? And I thought very strategically, I spent one day writing an outline for my book. I thought, what are the topics people want to know within the book is called Sculpture Life from Sketch to Masterpiece. I'm actually launching a 5-year anniversary this year, which I'm going to be working on making that a bestseller, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, exactly, thumbs up. And so it's written for artists, creatives, and mission-driven entrepreneurs to help them. It's a whole process for aligning your business to your purpose and profit and your brand. And when I first wrote that one day of an outline, I thought, okay, how can I put this all together? What sections, like what's the theme that I can make it so that it's interesting and fit it all together? What are some major topics? 5 minutes, thank you, sir. What are some major section dividers, some major parts and categories for my book? And then I started filling in on the content under each section. What I ended up doing is I made it like a whole artist journey. And so the first part, the first section, is about your sketching your work. So it's all about the beginning stages. Your why, your mission, your goals, that piece, the mindset piece. Then the second piece is about really taking it to the next level, planning, and putting it into masterpiece work. The third section is about getting into the mastery level. So the business aspects you need to know, the promotional work, and so on and so forth. So I thought very strategically about that. And that made it so much easier for me. And I think that single-handedly is the reason why I wrote the book in 3 weeks. Because I spent one day writing an outline, but no, I literally, I can't emphasize enough how crucial that step is for you. If you're gonna be writing your book, yes ma'am.
So I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
But do you help with also, if you didn't want to write a book, you want to write for like a publication?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've written for several publications. In fact, one thing that you could do is potentially write a story or a chapter in a collaboration book.
Okay.
You can write, that could be an article. You could take one chapter, which might be, let's say, 1,500 words. Write that for articles, write that as a blog post, write that as a little manual that you can sell on your, or give as a free gift on your website, and put that as an article in a publication and a collaboration book. Has everybody heard of what collaboration books are? Does everybody know what that is? A collaboration or an anthology book is several co-authors that write a chapter or a piece of a book, and it's usually under one theme, a related theme. So in the one that I did, it was called Shift Your Beliefs to Get What You Want. And my chapter was called Clearing the Clutter, or Clear the Clutter to Get What You Want. Clear the Clutter to Clarify Your Mission. So under that same, it was like kind of like a, the mindset with the mission piece, and it became a bestseller, that book. And so it was a fantastic, and I was Sharon Lecter from Rich Dad Poor Dad. She was a co-author in that book. Dame D.C. Cordova.
I think I got that.
Yes, that was the one. Something that stood out, which I have to be careful about in the future. I wrote something about my mom being a dictator, and I had somebody unrelated telling me, "Oh my God, I read that your mom. Oh my God, that's so funny." I was like, "Oh dear God, I didn't know this was going to be such a popular book." But you have to be, as mission-driven entrepreneurs and leaders, we need to be vulnerable, and sometimes it's going to be saying things that put us in a vulnerable state. It's unfortunate, but it's also where the growth happens and where the transformation happens. And so I think that's pretty much it. There's a lot of information in this. I actually, for anybody who who answers the feedback form, I'm giving the 5-day course. It's complimentary for anybody who writes the feedback, writes any type of feedback. It would be appreciated. And also, we're just going to have a few minutes now for questions. If anybody has any specific questions.
What is the 5-day course? When is that?
It's the topic, 5 days to discover the book within. So it's taking you more granularly into each of these topics.
And when is that going to be?
It's already done.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. It's a video with handouts and other things like that. Yes, it's already done. Do you have a question? You look very pensive.
Which would be, I mean, like one of the most interesting topics that the public might be interested.
That is a very good question.
Like a helpful book, like everybody's looking for that book.
We're wrapping up in 2 minutes. What I would suggest is 2 things. One, look at what trends are already popular today. Now you don't want to get, you want to get in the early stages. You don't want to go already when it's already, people are already out and going into the new thing, right? So like to put it into, like the Kardashians, right? That could be, but like, who's now, that's the youngest Kardashian is now kind of like the popular one. I just bought her lipstick, by the way, because I was like, wow, a 19-year-old created a business. She's not all boobs and stuff that everybody shows. She actually has a business. And I was like, okay, wow, this is really interesting. I would have never supported her. I didn't even know what she looked like, right? But I swear, I didn't know what she looked like. I had no idea until like a few months ago.
Kendall or Chloe?
Kylie.
Kylie.
Yeah. So you see her, she's in an article everywhere. I was like, who is this chick? And then I started finding out, wow, she has a makeup line. Oh my gosh. Right? So look at what's already trendy. Yeah? And if that's what you want to align your message to, that's a great way to find something that is going to be very popular. The other thing is timeliness, that time bound pieces. If you do something related to the holidays, what are people looking for before the holidays? Gifts. Right? They're looking for gifts to give to other people. I have an associate who's doing a cookbook. She wants to make her cookbook by Christmas time or by holiday time, right? That means she needs to be completed by like mid-November at the latest, so she could start packaging it for gifts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Bikini body is another example. We'll bring that up again. 30 days to get something. 30 days to make 30 days to make $1 million. Somebody else say something else. 30 days to
Lose the baby fat.
Who said that? 30 days to lose the baby fat. Awesome. Who would buy a book 30 days to lose the baby? I haven't had a child yet, but I still kind of have baby fat. I'll say I have baby fat. What else? 30 days to
Be rich.
30 days to be rich, but you got to be more specific. I don't know if people would get 30 days.
Make $1 million.
To write
Why,
a book.
what type of book? Right, to write a book. Well, that's my book I'm gonna write. All right, I have the stare down by the sir.
Sorry, I don't want to stare you down.
Yeah, I got that. No, it was a side eye. I got the side eye from the new president. But what I wanted to do is share. If you leave feedback, I'm going to be offering that 5-day course to anybody who. If you leave your email, I'll add you to the list. On top of that, if you have any questions specifically to you, I know Mario, you have a very specific case. We'll talk afterward. Anybody who wants to discuss your particular case, I would be happy to do that. I actually have a live course. To your point, I have a live course starting in October that might interest you as well, which is this process but for 90 days. And all right, did anybody have no more questions? All right. I'm going to whoever gets it is going to get a free course. So thank you so much for participating and asking questions and answering. All right, the winning ticket is last 3 numbers 394. Brian, was that you?
394.
The last person to react. All right, congratulations, Brian. We'll talk. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and I hope you learned something. Did everybody learn something? Everybody at least learned one thing.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Thank you. And I have my cards over there as well, which have my contact.
Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you guys for all. Yes, we're going to take